So here we are, Berlin, 1885. All right, so this is the Society, the Geographical Society. Now this is saying Paris. I don't know why it says, oh, maybe Paris is where the book is, but this is Berlin. Check out this gate, the Berlin Gate. Is that the Berlin Gate? And always, right, always with this Phoenician stuff. We've got an angel up here with the wings that are open. And of course, Martin, through his research, has found that that means open charge, right? And again, is this literally where the charge is going? It's arcing across. Got our horses. Why they always got horses and carriage? I mean, did they have cars? I saw a video by Paul Cook. Again, go check out Paul. He does great work, got a really good channel. And he was showing electric cars from the 1820s. You know, so the more we look into this, the more this tech goes back in time. But again, I mean, just everything, right? Built to perfection. More statues. This looks like it's made out of bronze or copper. How would you even do this? How do they cast them? How do they, once they're cast, how do they get them up here with the level of tech they're supposed to have had? It's interesting because all this stuff, it's all symbols, right? It's all telling a story, but we don't know what the story is, right? Like with their spelling, they've disconnected us from the meaning. And, you know, we take these all as literal, where I don't think they were. You know, you had to use the imagination, right? Your connection to get what the story was. And of course, you know, we can look at Egyptians with their hieroglyphs. Same kind of thing, right? They're telling stories through pictures. So this is the language we need to learn to read again. And of course, advertising, man, came in the early 1800s. There was no advertising in the old world because it wasn't about money and greed and all this kind of stuff. Another building, and you know, every building, right? Huge. This one's a mud flutter. Stairs up, windows down. Another one, again, with the statues on top, always. What are they telling us? You know, I think that a lot of this iconography is actually telling us what these buildings were for. And of course, most of these buildings, I would think, have been stripped from their facade. Right? They just strip it back to the bricks and, you know, basically take the story off, right? Take our story off and replace it with his story. Another one now. This is not Rome. This is Berlin. And we see this everywhere, right? The same buildings that we're told, you know, they're Greek, they're Roman, but no, they're everywhere. Oh, they're definitely Roman, right? They're Roman around the world. Dome in the front here. And even in Tennessee, which is near where I'm going to be soon, they have a Parthenon. And it's the exact same dimensions as the Parthenon in, where is Parthenon? Greece? I think it's in Greece. I don't think it's in Rome, is it? Oh, gosh. Again, right? Angels with open wings. Look at this. Just on a bridge. This is just a bridge. Right? Just an old world bridge. And look at all these pillars. Right? Covered in statues. You know, no one would even think of doing this anymore. Why? Because of money, right? Because they want to suck up all the money. Look at these lights, how ornate they are. What do we get now? We get a precast, you know, ugly metal thing with a fluorescent light in it. And of course, this is a bridge. You can see this is just straight into the ground. So if this was gas, which, you know, the narrative would tell us, it started off as gas. Where are the gas bottles? Where's the gas coming from? Are the pipes inlaid inside the bridge? Or if they're electric, same thing. Where's the electricity coming from? Or are they actually just self-running, just self-powering? Right, we've got the toroids under here, the Fibonacci spirals. So is that how they were collecting the ether energy? And of course, this in the background. Again, more statues, right? All over the place. And you'll notice in most of these photos too, where are the people? Not many people. And again, this is what we see everywhere, because this is post-reset. When they've cleaned up the cities enough, to let us back in, but this is when there's no people, right? There's not, the repopulation hasn't happened yet. So they must have had a pretty good cleanup crew. But again, look at all these statues, right? Just everywhere. Who are these people? What's the message? What are they trying to tell us? Again, no people. Well, actually, a couple of people, but not many. And massive statues. All right? It's all the same. And of course, what's a statue? It's a static U. All right? It's a picture of someone not moving. Static U, statue. And of course, in their law, we have statutes. All right? Stasis, all these words that are very similar, but they teach us that they're not connected at all. And of course, massive Greco-Romano buildings in Germany. Another one. A couple of people here just to show us the level of tech they had. And of course, being Germany, you need the beer, right? The draft, being pulled by the draft horses. All right. And statues, again, massive. Look at the size of this pedestal compared to the people. How are they building things this big, and how are they getting them up there? And on the roof, more statues. So I'm pretty sure there's a story here that we just need to learn to read, right? We just can't read their language. And of course, talking this way, having a language in art, right, in creativity, that's how they got the message across. Where today, right, no art left. It's just words, right? These boxy letters and the alphabet, the alpha and beta. Oh, this is a nice one. The Palais of the Prince of Bismarck. This is the buildings, obviously, that, I don't know, had something special about them, because they love to steal this for themselves, right? The best looking buildings. And always, with the portico, with the portholes, with the columns, with the arcs, the arched windows, always the same features. And this iron, look at this fence. And is that on the fence? I think it is. Look at all these little balls with like little antennas coming up out of them. And are they filled with mercury? Maybe. But again, Paul Cook was put out, which I hadn't really thought of before. They look like Van de Graaff generators, right? The little balls. Are they just Van de Graaff generators, maybe? Who knows? This is what we're trying to uncover here on AutoDidactic. Oh no, if I can speak. On AutoDidactic, which of course means to be self-educated. And look at this, a raised road set on pillars. Where was this pillar factory, man? These pillars, they're everywhere. They've all got a very similar design, with this sort of scalloped out look. And they're all exactly, symmetrical. They're all the same. I don't think we could even build to that standard today. But look at this raised, road, walkway, whatever you want to call it. Pretty cool. And of course, the vanilla skies. We can see something in the back here. All right, tower popping up. But it looks like there's another tower there. But as you can see, look how, clear the front is. Look at the shadows. But then once we get up here, it's gone. So it doesn't make a lot of sense, right? As far as photography, it looks like this has been whited out. Is that to hide the airships, maybe? The people from the outer territories, right? The extraterrestrials were maybe coming in airships, right? These cigar-shaped UFOs. Another angel with its wings open. She's holding a wreath. What we're told is a wreath. What was the use of that, really? But so many of these standing on top of these columns. So again, is that all? This could just be a massive antenna for all we know, right? I'm not sure, but we see them everywhere, right? And water around the outside. Very interesting, right? Get the current going. And look, there's statues everywhere, man. Look at it. They look a bit, this looks like he's about to hammer someone. But again, you know, are they supposed to be taken practically, or is there a bigger message in there? Here we have one of the said statues, and this is Goethe. Goethe, the writer, who has some pretty good stuff. If you haven't seen Goethe, go check him out. Quite a smart dude. And again, angels. And they're always naked. We've got the harp here, always to do with music as well. But as you can see, this inscription looks pretty nice and new, doesn't it? So is that even original, or is that just a plaque that's been put there? Because, you know, was this Goethe? I'm pretty sure he was 1700s. You know, this could be this could just be a statue, right? And they just name it as Goethe and then attribute some work to him. Not that I want to take anything away from Goethe, because you all should goeth forward more. This chick's just got bored, man. So she started to read. This lady not looking too happy. And this person with the harp. Interesting shape here, right? And again, we see, oh, that's okay. It's a swan. Interesting. Very cool. Everything's so artistic, right? The lion's heads, which we see everywhere. And this looks like it's Schiller. Apparently he was a shill. I don't know. I think I might have just made that up. That's Schiller. But here you see again, right, these spiral curves, which we see everywhere. You know, very reminiscent of what we see down here. And we see it on the ends of violins, right? Violins and all the wood instruments, the wood string instruments, they all have this curl at the end of them. All right, what's that about? Vanilla skies. Got another statue here. Das Konung Schauspielhaus. There you go. I can speak German. Again, right? Horse and cart, chariots, cruising on. That actually is that like a wing? I don't know. A bit hard to see. Looks like he's got a pipe up here. And these vases again, right? They're everywhere. But none of them have plants in them. Now that's what we think they're for, right? Got all this iconography telling us a story that we can't yet read. Here we have more of these scrolls. And again, Germany, right? Look at this. Right? Not what we're told is German. And you can see, like, there's a lot of stuff on. There's a lot of stuff on this side. This is Denkmal Frederick William III in Lustgarten. And again, right, with these, you know, what we're told are gods, right? These sort of godlike figures. Why were they gods? Why do you think that is? Were they just people who had knowledge of the tech and so they could do godlike things? You know, they might be able to levitate things and get free energy and shoot energy balls and all this kind of stuff. Is that what made them gods? Right? They're just the people with the knowledge. You can see this lady is holding a big staff. And what do we have in here? But the Maltese cross. Right? Because they do love to steal their symbols, right? What's that in the more? See, again, this shape. Right, this scroll shape, it's everywhere. Everywhere. Another one. And of course, these are all, you know, made from marble and very hard stone. Is it even possible to sculpt this kind of stuff? Look at this down here, this bit of material, you know, inlaid with all the designs, and look how thin it gets here. And of course there's statues where even, you know, I can't see the underside here, but where the underside is also you know, crafted, right, sculpted. Like how can, but there's no space to get in there. And again, we have the same thing, right? These angel types naked, you know, walking around. And why were they naked? Is that because it was warmer, right? under the vapor canopy maybe. Another one. It's a bit of a boring one, isn't it? And sorry if you can hear my mouse clicking. I've noticed on the last couple of videos that my mouse clicking has come through. I did have a silent mouse, but it died, and so I've just got picked up a cheap one really. So I need to get another silent mouse. So sorry if the clicking is a bit annoying. Clark Street, looking north from Jackson Street. You Jackson? You look like a Jackson. Of course, classic line from a classic movie. Who knows what movie is that from? Let me know in the comments. Again, two different types of tech. Right? People walking around. Look at this car. A couple of wheels and literally just some boards and stuff. They're cruising around, but they apparently could also build all these buildings, right? Another one. Look at the size of this light. Huge. Where's the gas? Like, look, the people are down here, man. Trolleys or trams, as we call them in Australia. Streetcars were everywhere. So they had them in Chicago as well. I don't know if they're still there. I don't think they are. I'm pretty sure, like in the US, that's San Francisco, right, with the cable cars is the only place that they're left. Just like in Australia. They're only left in Melbourne, but we know they were in every city. There's been trams found, tramways and systems in the middle of the Amazon jungle, if you did not know. And the build out, like 1890, look at the build out here. And always wall to wall, all right? Which means this is a complete build out. You could not build this building and then come back and wedge this in between. Right, it wouldn't work. How would you get the foundations? Right, foundations have to be big and go down low. Like once this and this is built, you can't come back and slap this in. This has got to be all pre-designed and built at the same time. It's just how it works. And the same features everywhere, right? Columns, porticos, arched windows, symmetry, always the same. Adams. What's Adams doing? Streetcars, and of course they even show us streetcars pulled by horses, which doesn't make sense. How could a horse pull a cart up an incline or go down an incline? If the driver didn't get the brakes properly, if he missed up one bit, then squashed horse. Here we have the controllers. Now look at this. This looks like it's been touched up, right? You see these dots? Or is that some kind of tech maybe? Don't know. Interesting. But again, this is the old world. In the 1800s, or 1893, I think it was. And this, I mean, these are just such a giveaway, these pictures, right? We've got these amazing old buildings, right, built perfectly, and then they just forgot to do anything at the front. Right? The people come along and just hang these, material awnings off them. Right? Does this make any sense at all? That the people who built these buildings just forgot that they needed, shade on the street or, whatever down here. And so this is all just retrofitted and it's just all wooden materials. They couldn't even do it properly. They couldn't do it to anywhere near the standard of the buildings. Ooh, there we go. Again, this kind of looks like it's been touched up, right? Well, definitely, right? Unless we had cartoon characters walking around. What's going on here? Is it just been touched up, or have they been added in maybe? Maybe there was no people in this photo. Hydrants. What really are these hydrants? They used to be everywhere as well, right? The metal ones. We're told just for firefighting. Are they? Were they something different? Who knows? And mud flooded, right? Stairs up. You can see this literally has a stairway going down. This shop looks like it's half underground. All these windows on the ground floor. Mud flood buildings. And look at this. You see these quite a bit too, these column things that aren't connected to the ground. Again, are they something to do with some kind of Antiquitech. Look at this. Skyscrapers, right? Not quite a skyscraper. Of course, the Masonic Temple, right? Of course it is. Look at the size of the people compared. This is the first floor. The people are down here. Okay, so these are 20-foot floors. You know, so 1800s, you know, this is in America. Still, you know, a growing city just sort of being set up. Why would they waste all this space? Why would you build floors so big when you could have 3 floors in there and the building would only need to be this tall? Why would you use 4 times the materials just to make it big? Doesn't make any sense at all. Massive arc here, arcs all the way along, and here and here and here and here. It's all the same. All the same. But this building, right? What do we got? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. Right, so that's like a 20-story building in the 1800s. All masonry. Right? Not steel and glass, masonry. Masonry, right? Masonic masonry. That's why they're called the Freemasons, because they love Freemasonry, right? As in bricks and mortar. Right? Mortar, it's mortifying, cement, cemetery, right? All these interesting connections in their spells. This looks mud flooded. As you can see, it's coming down and then down again. We've got windows going into the ground everywhere. Oh, look at this chick. She's having a look in the window. Bit of window shopping. And advertising's come in, right? So this is all added afterwards. After they've got their Freemasonry, they then try and charge us for everything. These little spiral domes are pretty interesting too. So this Ashland building, and is this looks like a drawing. Pretty sure, I don't know, it's hard to tell. If that's a drawing, it's very good, right? Because, you know, these people are all drawn by the looks of it. And I often wonder, you know, because we see a lot of, you know, pictures like this that look like they're drawn, you know, but we have filters today, right? You can get a photo and you can put a filter so it comes out looking like a drawing. So what's going on here? Well, this looks like a photo, doesn't it? It looks like a photo, but these people, they look like they've been added, drawn in. Is that what's happened? Drawn in to draw us in. Again, massive, massive building. Ants on the street down here. What's this? The new Dime Museum. They love their museums. You know, so they can show us everything's old, right? They can date everything. Again, real estate board. Oh, yeah, man. Land. And this is really one of their big agendas, right? Land. They've been getting us to swap our land, you know, the land of the realm, which belongs to everyone, and swap it for worthless bits of paper that they just create. And they make us think we're getting a good deal out of it. But look where we are now, right? Look at the price of land and real estate now. You know, and it's just all been bought up by BlackRock, right? The BlackRock, Rupus nigra, right? The BlackRock of Hyperborea. Again, more build out. I mean, and look at this building here. It's just crazy. All right, let's see if there's any World's Fair buildings here. Here's another one. Look at all these buildings, and no doubt, unfortunately, most of these buildings would be gone now. I mean, look at the roof up here. Look at this stuff. Look at all these antennas. Up here, we've got some, you know, some kind of balcony with metal going around it. Open wings, or open something. This looks like a turtle. But what is all this stuff? You know, if you're going to build a building like this, if you could and design it, you know, all of this stuff would be for a reason. It wouldn't just be, oh, well, this building looks amazing, but it needs some bits on the very top that people can't see. Doesn't make sense. It's clearly got a function. So this one's looking a bit brutal, right? A bit brutalism. So this is what buildings look like after they've been defacaded, right? They go in and they strip them off so that we can't see what they're really about. But you can tell this is an old world building just by the way that, you know, it's not just this flat surface. We have these bits popping out all along here. And of course, the top of this, we see these everywhere, arched vaulted windows, but they strip them off and then try and tell us that they built them. So this is the Monadnock building, Dearborn and Van Buren Street. So anyone from Boston? Well, I mean, sorry, where are we? Chicago. Chicago. Which, of course, used to be called Shalaga, which is an old world city in America on many, many, many maps. And look what we got on the top here. All right. Is that an energy collection device? Because it kind of looks like it. But again, see, this is what the buildings would have been. Look at how much stuff's on here. All this, you know, logos, if you want to call it, all this story, all this artwork. You know, so this one, the top of it survived, but they've stripped the bottom. So there's nothing down here. And then, of course, they all need these little awnings, right, for shade, because whoever built this building, that they couldn't take that into account. So was this even meant for human habitation? You know, I think a lot of these buildings are machines. I don't necessarily believe that you know, anyone was inhabiting them. They weren't for that. I always get this same look, these arcs and the columns. And of course, they love to put their flags on the spires. Another one. Another one. It's just a complete build out, right? It's just ridiculous. And again, here we go, horses. Horses pulling a tram or a trolley or a cable car, whichever you prefer, right? Horses. Does this make any sense at all? Okay, this guy's got a carriage. So this guy with his horses can go wherever he wants, right? But these trolleys, they can only stay on these tracks. So what's the point? They're actually limiting where these vehicles can go by putting them on tracks. Doesn't make any sense. You know, if they were running on free energy, then yeah, you know, metal tracks, right, would need to be there, and that makes sense. But otherwise it doesn't. It really, really doesn't, in my humble opinion. More buildings. I mean, so this is clearly an old world city. I mean, look at this place. Just ridiculous. I'm just going to go and see if we've got any World Expo. Maybe I should go back to the, oh God, look at this one. I mean, look at the intricacy here. Look at this. Look at the different layers, right? It's just to turn the building into a capacitor using different materials layered with mortar in between. Of course, we know now that bricks can actually be used as batteries. Battery is an interesting word, you know. A lot of forts are batteries. What are they trying to tell us? But just look at that. I mean, can you even imagine someone building something, you know, company people building something like this today? It wouldn't even pass the design phase because of the expense, right? The money. That's like, well, where's my return? You know, that's just crazy. I'm just going to see if we've got some World's Fair pics. Let's have a look. So as you can see, this is quite, I mean, look at these. So I won't go through the whole thing because as you can see, there's a lot of pics in this book. Lots and lots and lots. Do we have the World's Fair here? Doesn't look like there are any World's Fair pics. It did say World's Fair. All right, we'll check out a few more and then I'll come and have a chat. But up here it does say World's Columbia Exposition. Oh, wow, look at this. So this is a castle. Clearly a castle. All right, look at that. Looks like it's had a bit of damage, maybe. This is oh my God, this is a house, guys. It's a house. The residence of Mr. Potter Palmer. Mr. Potter Palmer. Interesting name. Mud flooded. All right. Windows down on the ground, stairs going up. Let's see this cable that runs up the side here. What's that grounding for? What's that? But that's telling us this is a house. All right, it's a house. That's a castle. So what is a castle? Was it cast by El? Made by the gods. A castle. Again, residence. These are all houses. Again, another mud flooder. All right, windows going down. You can see this is actually sunk below the level of the street. So this is the Freemasonry, right, that they stole for their houses so they can have all these big spaces. I mean, how did they heat them? You know, why would you build something that big unless you had the capacity to heat and cool it? Another residence. All right, and this is all, you know, it's not New York, obviously, but this is all sort of Gilded Age type mansions, which, of course, they went in and they knocked them all down. Another one. Residence of General Joseph T. Torrance. All right. So that this is what the rulers got, and we got the shacks and the tents. Another one. So I mean, this stuff is everywhere. So I'll go and I don't think I'll put the links under, but I will when I get off the live. I will put the links for these books below so you can go and check them out. Oh, like I said, it is Gallica.fr, .bnf.fr. I mean, look at this. Just ridiculous, right? Look at all these sunbursts. Wow, looks like an eye. Somebody's watching you. That's a cool balcony. But ridiculous, right? All houses. Again, residence. Oh, residence of J. Mason. Loomis. The Masons are looming. Looming with their luminescence that they stole, right? The free energy. I mean, look at this. It's a house. That looks like a hotel. You know, and we still see this today, right? All these stars, these fallen stars, maybe. You know, they've got these mansions, right? The Man of Zion. These huge, you know, buildings that they don't need and hardly ever use, while, you know, we get everything taken from us. So this is people, you know, wanting to be the gods, basically. Wanting to be the gods of us, wanting to be the gods of this realm. But clearly there were, you know, people before them that were much more advanced. And this has just all been stolen. That's why they knock it all down, because they can't get it to work. They can't use it. They can't heat it. Don't understand it. And so they knock it all down. All right, look, these are houses. This is what they're telling us. These are all houses. So pretty interesting stuff. Okay, now we've got some apartments. But this is a house. This is a residence. This one they're saying is apartments. So the Masons, you know, the controllers who stole the world, they get this to themselves as one house. You know, we at best get like a little bit, like a room of one of these. So we've got the short end of the stick, but we're trying to change all this, I think. And I think times are changing pretty fast. It looks like it's all falling apart at the moment. We used to have all these nice gardens, you know, public spaces, but they've all gone pretty much too. You might be lucky to get a park or two in a city. Unless it's a national park, then, you know, you can't really go in unless you've got permits and all this other kind of crap. What's that in the background? Look at that. Made of glass, looks like it's been touched up. No doubt a massive greenhouse, but with a chimney. What's going on there? And, oh, is this a zoo? Seal Pound, Lincoln Park. Oh, well, there you go. That's where the band lives, no doubt. And look at these lily pads. So I haven't seen these in the Americas before. These were in England. The guy who apparently designed and built the Crystal Palace, Joseph Baxter, is that right? I think that's right. He was growing these, you know, massive lily pads, and there's photos of people sitting on them. He also introduced the Cavendish banana, apparently, and he was in England. All right. Got his little tricycle here. Got the kids. Got the penny farthing. And the umbrellas are weird, right? Always the umbrellas for the sun. The parasols. And here's a man about to take a seat. Oh, it's Lincoln. Honest Abe. Honest Abe. Interesting character. If you look into him, there's quite a bit of evidence to say that the gift of the Ellie Bates. Of the Elliots, the elites, who knows? In Lincoln Park. Oh, that's okay. As far as Lincoln Park, all makes sense now. But yeah, there's evidence that Honest Abe may not have been Caucasian, right? May not have been white. He may have been a coloured person, which they don't want us to know. Look at this. The Grant Monument. And Grant was like, he was like a US Civil War leader. And like, again, it's all about war, right? It's always about war. Always about war and conquering. The big con. Join the con queue. All right? Line up to be conned and conquered. All right, so I'll come back and we can have a chat. I think how long have I been going? Oh my gosh, is it an hour and a half already? More statues of the leaders, right? Again, put up. These are the people to worship. These are the ones that change the world. Who's this? Linnae? Linnae. Who's Linnae? Because this dude's clothes, look how he's dressed. What's this? He's like just got out of bed and it's cold, so he's still got his sheet around him. And last one, then like I said, I'll put the links under this for these books under when I get off. Here we have an American Indian by the looks of it, a native Ottawa Indian monument. So it looks like there's lots of these monuments in Lincoln Park. Oh, and some moose. Just hanging out. Oh, elk. Sorry, elk. What's the difference between a moose and an elk? Moose have the big funny antlers, don't they?